Every day, AI like ChatGPT and Claude are defining what the world knows about your brand. But new research reveals a critical vulnerability. 84% of AI citations are from third-party sources. This means external entities, not you, are defining your brand story in the age of AI. These outside sources can be outdated, inaccurate, or even outright negative, misrepresenting your brand at scale. By 2026, this becomes a major issue for Irish brands. We'll break down the trust, operational, and legal risks you must address now. The mistake brands make is seeing this as a simple content problem. Fundamentally, AI reputation risk is a conversion problem. It stops customers from trusting you enough to act. Reliance on third-party AI creates an authenticity gap. Consumers assume brand messages come from human effort. When that assumption is violated, perceived authenticity plummets. This problem is baked into the technology itself. Over half, 55%, of all AI failures originate from the third-party tools brands are increasingly relying on. This reliance forces you to share sensitive business data. This exposes Irish brands to data breaches and GDPR violations, especially if your data is used for training. You can't just optimize for AI. Different models like ChatGPT and Gemini have vastly different citation behaviors, making a single strategy ineffective, so the technology is fragmented and inherently risky. But how are your customers actually reacting to this new AI-driven world? Consumer preference has shifted fast. In 2023, 60% preferred AI-generated creator content. By 2025, that had already collapsed to just 26%. This isn't just a preference for human messiness, it's a fear of being misled. A huge majority of users are concerned about AI hallucinations, false information presented as fact. The obvious fix is transparency, but it's a paradox. Most consumers say they want AI disclosure, yet that very disclosure can reduce their trust. So you're caught between a customer who wants transparency and one who distrusts it. Unfortunately, by 2026, Irish law will make that choice for you. Starting August 2026, the EU AI Act imposes strict transparency obligations. This means clear labelling. But this EU rule hits a uniquely Irish legal snag. You'll see why shortly. The stakes are high. Breaching the transparency rules can cost up to €15 million, or 3% of global annual turnover, making AI governance business critical. So the EU is demanding transparency, with massive penalties for failure. But can Irish brands even comply when our own national laws are in conflict? Here is the unique Irish problem. The EU's copyright law is human-centric, but Ireland's Copyright Act of 2000 defines a work's author as the one who made arrangements for it. This conflict between Irish and EU law is completely untested in court. It creates massive uncertainty around IP ownership, liability, and rights for AI-generated content. Let's recap the challenge for an Irish brand in 2026. You're using tools that fail 55% of the time, sourcing their info predominantly from others for a consumer base that is increasingly skeptical of AI and demands authenticity. All while facing €35 million fines from the EU and navigating a direct conflict in your own national copyright law. These are not separate problems. They are one interconnected crisis. So, how do you build a strategy that addresses all these fronts at once? Let's join the dots. A third-party citation issue isn't just a brand risk, it's a legal one. Under EU AI Act, you are liable for the outputs, even from sources you don't control. Simultaneously, the 55% failure rate of third-party tools directly feeds consumer trend away from AI. Every hallucination confirms their suspicion and erodes the trust you need. This creates the strategic trilemma for 2026. Maintain brand authenticity for skeptical customers while complying with new transparency laws using tools that are unreliable. Navigating this seems impossible. But there is a path forward. Where does it begin? The path begins with governance. Ireland is launching a national AI regulatory sandbox by August 2026, offering a supervised environment to test systems and ensure compliance. Internally, the most vital step is creating human-led AI brand voice guidelines. Without your own structured data, any model will default to generic outputs sourced from the web. Strengthen first-party data and owned channels. Turn your site into a definitive source of truth to force AI models to cite you directly. Third-party reliance is an opportunity. Every point shifted to first-party directly increases your control and legal defensibility. In 2026, winning with AI in Ireland won't be about who adopts it the fastest. It will be about who governs it the wisest. Start building your AI governance framework today, because what's at stake isn't just your content, it's your customers' trust.